Well guys, as you know, there's been a lot of nonsense going on this platform, and it's made it really hard for independent creators to not be kind of silenced. So today's video is sponsored by an incredible sponsor, NordVPN. I've talked about them before. Go to nordvpn.com/cleanprints and use code cleanprints to get 75% off a 3-year plan and an extra month for free. You can protect yourself online today. That brings your total subscription cost down to $2.99 a month. VPNs are incredible. They got 24/7 customer support service all over the world. They protect you, your identity, your ability to use the internet. But I'll talk about that way more at the end of the video, so look out for that. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the game that truly leaves Assassin's Creed behind, and in 2018 that's for mostly better and a bit for worse. We've seen a decade of assassinations, over a dozen entries across what is almost quite literally every modern platform imaginable. But what we've seen more than anything else is the blade of an assassin change into something else altogether. At this point, it's pretty damn hard to argue that annualization has ever been a good thing for literally any franchise. But what's becoming very clear is that there are obvious anomalies when you treat a franchise like Ubisoft is currently. They don't seem to care about what Assassin's Creed 2 was, or what it even means to be an assassin. Hell, they don't even care if they call you an assassin. And that attitude is what's led us here. Now, we make our way from ancient Egypt to the Trojan War of the Greek Isles. Welcome to a new kind of Creed. This is Sparta. Just a few years ago, a plan was hatched. A plan to take one of the most well-recognized and best-selling game franchises on the market and make it something new. Ubisoft had faltered, Unity was a mess at launch, Syndicate didn't sell well, and the Creed was at a crossroads. So Ubisoft made a move that nearly no one saw coming. They ceased annualization of the series, gave it a year off to breathe, and in the meantime, polished off something new. It was 2015, around the time of Syndicate's completion, that Assassin's Creed Odyssey began its life. The team at Ubisoft Quebec wanted to take the best from Fallout, The Witcher 3, and Skyrim. They wanted to make a game that looked far more like a game of numbers than a game of blades. Origins took steps in that very direction, but it found itself sitting just a bit past halfway to that goal. So Ubisoft worked in constant communication with the Origins team on what we have in front of us today. The franchise's fastest selling release this generation. What Odyssey is without a doubt not what you'd recognize if you were just visiting from 2010. Odyssey is about numbers. Odyssey doesn't just dip its toe into the RPG pool, it kicks the action series off a cliff and dives into an oasis of numbers, and Odyssey gets it mostly right. Let's do this checklist style. First up, you have the simpler additions. Your gear suite is significantly expanded this time around, and the numbers are more important than ever. Look at this screen. This is actually in an AC game. With the new engravings, you can customize your armor down to the percentage point, and in doing so, can even create pseudo-classes. You can build a deadly assassin or a brutish fire-wielding warrior. You have genuine choice here. That choice also extends to a new dialogue system. You've seen plenty of these before. This one doesn't reinvent the wheel. It's fine enough, but often your words lead to the same result no matter what choice you make. But every once in a while, you get a genuine branching path or the opportunity to romance a character, and that is a huge improvement in the RPG realm for the player agency of this series, even if those instances are few and far between. But where the RPG mechanics really shine is the world's side quests, optional objectives, hidden stories. They're nearly everywhere, but let's skip this one for now and save that for later. Instead, there's the real meat and reality of this new RPG approach, which is loot and gear. All gear is upgradable, but at launch, that upgrade system is still quite unbalanced. It's a good system, but one that needs work, especially because the gear you want, assuming you want to keep it, requires upgrades. This is being addressed, but a fix isn't live quite yet. But that isn't too awful because of how much of an emphasis Odyssey places on loot. The stream of reward in this game is constant. every mission, every captain kill is rewarding you with something new. There are new specialty vendors like Ecos that sell special gear you can only get from drops off of certain people, gear you can only find. Odyssey is very much an RPG and very much a loot-based one, and despite the little hiccups discussed here, it gets being an RPG right. But where Odyssey gets a real leg up is in a place that many RPGs or pseudo-RPGs begin to falter, and it's another big shift for the franchise. Do you remember that episode of SpongeBob where Flats tries to beat him up and SpongeBob just laughs? That's what combat felt like in far too many AC games, but it made sense. They were meant to be stealth games. Odyssey, however, does a better job than Origins of balancing stealth and combat. Stealth is a better option than it was in the last entry, but it's hard not to find yourself wanting to go in swords blazing, mostly because of how good the combat in Odyssey can be when you really explore it. For once, a skill tree matters. 8 in total can be equipped at once, and they finally make combat dynamic. In one encounter, you can light your sword on fire, cause a flammable earthquake, and Sparta kick an enemy into oblivion, all while utilizing a responsive parry and dodge system. These skills, which include the ability to heal yourself mid-battle, add to the strategy of combat, which is great because Odyssey places a massive emphasis on it. Conquest battles are mostly optional, but the ones you choose to engage in are challenging tests of your response time and combat skills. They are massive battles in which you fight alongside one group or another choice you get to make, attacking or defending. Essentially, slaughter as many before they slaughter you. This added emphasis on open combat is even more obvious in the latter half of the story, which I won't show here to avoid spoilers, but which throws you into combat situation after combat situation, seemingly building environments designed for that alternative as opposed to stealth. Odyssey makes it clear that Ubisoft is okay with leaving the stealth identity of the franchise behind entirely. This will obviously be hit or miss, depending on which set of mechanics you prefer, but when you accept the maybe unfortunate reality that Assassin's Creed is no longer a stealth series at all, it does become easier to digest all of these mechanics. But it isn't all new for Assassin's Creed and Odyssey. There's some old to be explored as well. You know what doesn't normally happen when you open a map? You don't get 9,000 notifications begging you to come visit them. And well, we all know what maps have for years. But Odyssey very smartly does away with that other bit of AC tradition by working to make a genuinely explorable open world possible, while also streamlining it and sprinkling in some tradition. What do I mean by streamlining? Don't know how to get to your next quest? Hop on Phobos your horse, hit follow road, and then hit ride to next quest marker. The horse will automatically find a route and take you where you need to go. Want a deeper experience? Then click on Explore mode and turn off all of the HUD, yes, those are all HUD elements, and really live in ancient Greece. Want to check over that hill and see what you can find? It might just be a woman looking to point you in the direction of a legendary animal, or better yet, a view that quite frankly has no place being as spectacular as it probably is. And from there the world gets even more dynamic. The new mercenary system is a tad shallow, but what it is a shallow version of the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor, and that's a pretty good thing. The mercenary system sends mercs after you across the world with personalities, weaknesses, strengths, and even backstories. Kill them and reap loot and XP, climbing the tier ladder. They can pop up anywhere. Unfortunately, a bit too often, that was in the middle of a mission. Here, 2 popped up basically simultaneously, but they add to the feeling of a lived-in world where bounties and mercs exist. Better yet, there's another system, the cult system, that sees your side activities and world markers carry much greater meaning as you work your way to finding the true face of the cult. It's a world with things to actually engage with and places worth seeing and visiting. Even if you aren't the one playing a part in it, even if you're just hunting for a cult member, even if you're just engaging a cult member. Hell, it doesn't even need to be you engaging, like this random bear attack on a road or this bear-boar fight on an island. And speaking of the islands, and a callback to Black Flag and Rogue that everyone wanted, Sailing the Seas is here, and it's fun, if not a bit boring at times, but sea combat is still here as well and serviceable enough, but those little islands you can discover, the underwater locales, all make the water worth it. This lived-in world is on full display in towns and streets, in open water and empty hills. This is an incredibly well-built slice of Greek life, even if it isn't quite as adaptable as something like a Red Dead or Witcher. But as Odyssey moves further away from the AC legacy, so does Ubisoft from some of their older business practices. The XP boost debacle was a weird one. The idea that the game was grindy simply for the purpose of attempting to pigeonhole you into giving it $10 for a boost was one that was perpetuated across the gaming community. In truth, yes, the late game did originally have a bit of grind to it, were you to not have that XP boost. But the quests and enemy scaling made that grind relatively negligible. It wasn't a smart move, but it wasn't the end of the world. Ubisoft, however, has made smarter decisions with Odyssey for the most part. The cosmetic and gear items on the microtransaction store are unbelievably overpriced. One skin for your horse could put you out of 10 real-world dollars. But in response, Ubisoft introduced a special gem dealer named Ecos that allows you to earn those microtransaction items in-game in exchange for a special currency you can also earn in-game. So as cool as this is, you don't have to pay for it. You just might have to do a little bit of that aforementioned grinding. Better yet, the game is getting free content each and every month. November brings a Cyclops, a currency balance update, 2 new quests, and well, you get the point. Ubisoft is treating Odyssey and Origins like a live product, one meant to be played year-round, and in doing so, they're providing significantly more value to the game than other AC games have had attached to them in the past. Even if I think a part of this move is specifically designed to keep you engaged enough to want to buy the DLC down the line. Hell, the change to have Ecos selling microtransaction gear came after launch. Do with that information what you will. But the point is that unlike a lot of other single-player RPGs, Odyssey will look a hell of a lot different in 2020 than it does in 2018. Look, I used to mentally admonish every game that wasn't Black Flag with the Assassin's Creed name on it practically since the launch of that game. I enjoyed Syndicate well enough, and I liked Origins quite a bit too, but Odyssey has forced me to genuinely question whether or not this is the Greek version of what Black Flag and every game thereafter was striving to be. A game with words Assassin's Creed on the front of it is a damn good RPG and a more than serviceable action game, and that's surprising to say. Odyssey is the realization of the direction Ubisoft has headed over the past couple years. But I'm also worried. Odyssey is very good and will sell well, it already has. But these kinds of massive RPGs need time to breathe. Need time for the industry to change so that they can change as well. No one wants an annualized Witcher or Fallout, and I certainly don't think that annualizing this kind of Assassin's Creed would be anything but a detriment to this franchise's future. I miss Ezio, I miss rooftop chases, but I can't wait to see what else Greece has to offer me, and that is the biggest compliment I can give. Assassin's Creed Odyssey does indeed shed pretty much everything that Assassin's Creed has been. But this is what a franchise is supposed to do. It's supposed to grow, it's supposed to evolve, it's supposed to adapt. I don't want to play the same game every year for 10 years. Odyssey takes steps in a different direction, and we shouldn't be angry about that. We should be celebrating that even when it misses the mark, because it's an attempt to do something new. And isn't that what a community is all about? Isn't that what gaming is all about? Pushing the industry, pushing the medium, pushing franchises forward. So let's stop hoping for the old Assassin's Creed and start being hopeful for the future. Well guys, as I mentioned, this video is sponsored by NordVPN. They are an incredible sponsor that allow me to continue to do this and make sure I can do it reasonably. As I've told you guys before, for years I've been using NordVPN. They are incredible. A VPN is very important. It can protect your ability to use the internet, your identity, allow you to safely use the internet without being tracked. It's all sorts of good stuff. VPNs are very important. NordVPN has automatic kill switches. You can have up to 6 connections simultaneously. If you go to nordvpn.com/cleanprints, you will get 75% off a 3-year plan plus a month free, which brings your total cost down to $299 a month. NordVPN sponsors me partly because I actually use NordVPN. I cannot encourage you guys enough to use this service. It'll protect you. It's great. Thanks to them for giving me the opportunity to tell you guys about this.